software development, product requirement documents, or PRDs, decay almost immediately. And when you are building artificial intelligence products, that spec sheet is completely dead the second an engineer writes the first line of code. Traditional software is deterministic. When a product manager writes a requirement for a login button, the code executes that exact logic, and the button works precisely the same way every single time. AI models, however, are probabilistic. They generate outputs based on likelihoods. You cannot capture infinite edge cases, sudden context shifts, or outright hallucinations and standard acceptance criteria. Because the output is so unpredictable, writing complex code just to see if an AI feature works is essentially taking your most valuable engineering time and throwing it at a casino wheel, hoping the user actually wants what the model spits out. Knowing this, it is surprising how often product managers will still sit at their desks, make massive assumptions about what users need, and immediately order their teams to start training neural networks. This graphic shows a traditional product management lifecycle, and it illustrates the trap perfectly. It assumes a clean, linear transition from analysis straight into development, where you simply hone requirements and start building. That requires a level of certainty that AI simply does not provide. Committing elite machine learning engineers and massive compute resources to an unvalidated concept is an enormous financial drain. You burn through your budget before you even know if you are solving the right problem. The hard truth is that writing code is the worst possible way to validate a new AI product idea. To survive, you have to invert the process. You must confirm that the user actually values the outcome you are promising well before your team builds the algorithmic solution to deliver it. This timeline shows product progression. The second step is a prototype, a model providing the convincing illusion of a finished product. It answers, would people actually use and buy this? It requires near zero investment, preceding the massive financial spike of prototyping. For artificial intelligence products, the absolute best prototyping framework is known as the Wizard of Oz test. Here is how it works. You set up a dummy interface. A real user sits down and types in a prompt, believing they are interacting with an advanced neural network. But behind the curtain, a human being is manually reading that prompt, typing out a response, and sending it back to the screen. This manual trick flawlessly tests market demand. The user reacts to the final outcome's perceived value, completely unaware that the underlying algorithm is entirely fake. While running this test, your job is to observe the user's organic reaction. You get to see firsthand whether the output actually solves their problem and delights them, or if it completely falls flat. When a user struggles with your manual output, you can step in and use the 5 whys technique. By asking why and uncover the root cause of what they are actually trying to achieve. There are other ways to gather this data rapidly. You could build a basic marketing landing page describing a purely theoretical AI feature and see if anyone actually signs up to be notified when it launches. You could even sketch an interface on a piece of paper, take it to a local coffee shop, and ask strangers to top on the drawings to gather immediate, unfiltered usability feedback. All of these methods force you out of your office. They break you away from desk-bound assumptions and force you to gather hard, undeniable facts directly from the market. An afternoon spent prototyping yields concrete behavioral data that is infinitely more valuable than the blind guesses that typically drive a traditional 6-month development cycle. The logic is simple. If a user does not care about your feature when a highly intelligent human is perfectly mimicking the AI behind the scenes, they certainly will not care when a real, imperfect machine learning model performs the same task. As an AI product manager, your mandate is not to build every idea that comes across your desk. Your job is to aggressively kill bad ideas before they drain resources, keeping your product from becoming a bloated repository of features nobody wants. Pretotyping gives you the undeniable, data-backed leverage you need to walk into a stakeholder meeting and confidently say no to an engineering boondoggle. Look at your current roadmap. Pick one AI feature that your team is planning to build and immediately cancel the drafting of its product requirements document. Instead, figure out a creative way to manually fake that exact feature. Find 3 potential users and run a test on them by tomorrow morning. The best AI product managers do not rely on having the deepest coding knowledge. They rely on an obsessive focus on the customer and a ruthless commitment to code-free validation.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like.